Hello and welcome to Lincoln Debates. I'm your host and moderator Lincoln, and today we are joined by Lincoln and Lincoln. In this episode, we will be debating human cloning. Lincoln will be arguing that cloning is a good idea, and Lincoln will be arguing that it is a bad idea. Lincoln, why do you believe cloning is a good idea? Lincoln, cloning is the bogeyman technophobes like to point to as a reason for us to be fearful of the future, but it's foolish to be fearful of inevitabilities. Cloning is going to happen if it hasn't already, and with the genetic manipulation that comes with cloning, we can eliminate diseases and gain a better understanding of human psychology. We should focus on the many positives of this technology, not waste time being paranoid. Thank you very much, Lincoln. And Lincoln, why do you believe cloning is a bad idea? Lincoln, cloning is a literal breeding ground for the violation of human rights, a narcissistic attempt to reshape humanity in its own image, and a desecration of nature. This is a technology that could be used to rob people of their individuality, to bring us into exactly the sort of dark, surreal future that science fiction stories have been warning us about for decades. It needs to be taken seriously. Thank you, Lincoln. I want you to picture an Einstein sperm bank, but even better. Forget rolling the dice with some regular person. Your child could be genetically engineered to share the same DNA as Meryl Streep, Paul McCartney, Queen Elizabeth II. I think most people would call that a horror story. Beyoncé, okay, Matthew McConaughey. What, so that my child could grow up to be in a Lincoln commercial? They would be treated like the children of celebrities, everyone expecting them to be just like the famous person they were based on. Imagine having every moment of your life compared to another person's. Want to know what Lincoln's clone would look like at age 10? Just look at the old photographs. Only he had already done all these amazing things by that age. What have you done? What about if you had dozens of them, and didn't pressure them to go into that thing they were known for? Yes, people would expect them to be great at something. Lots of public scrutiny, but it's not as though the children of celebrities struggle exactly. Many of them go on to do incredible things in their own right. What would Einstein have made if he'd been a painter, a musician, if he'd studied marine biology? You're proposing a world where these people's lives are looked at as nothing but experiments, not to mention the actual experiments that many would want to do on them, scientists willing to ignore the ethical problems involved. I mean, can you imagine 3 Lincolns sitting in a room together? Or 6? Nobody wants to see that. Since you brought up scientific testing, let's not overlook just how much we could learn from experimenting with clones. Of course done in an ethical way. Many of the psychological studies done on identical twins could be done on dozens of clones raised in different environments. We could come dramatically closer to answering the age-old question of nature versus nurture. Rich people might have clones made of themselves to serve as organ donors. That's the kind of dystopian crap we're talking about, but I'm sure it'll be done in an ethical way. There's always the potential for misuse with any groundbreaking technology, although I agree, if they cloned someone as annoying as you, there would be ethical implications. Tell me, how would you feel about it if you were cloned? Oh, I think it might be fun. Yeah, I'd like to have a twin. Someone who really understood me. Someone who could finish my sentences. We could talk about life together, about what it means to be Lincoln. I know it wouldn't bother him being a clone because it wouldn't bother me. You wouldn't mind being a clone? No, that would be just fine. I mean, what difference does it make? When identical twins are born, does the one born 10 minutes later think of their sibling as the original and themselves the copy? Of course not. People might treat me differently, knowing I was a clone, but that's culture, and culture changes. It adapts. You know, Lincoln, I think it's time I showed you something interesting. I have trouble believing I'll find anything you say or do to be interesting, but give it a try. I have here a photograph of you trying to do a push-up taken on August 16th at 11 a.m. But then, I also have this photograph of a man who appears to be you eating an entire tub of ice cream taken at 11:02 on the same day. Explain yourself, or should I say, explain yourselves. Yup, I've got a clone. What can I say? There's no other possible explanation. I knew it. So what do I win? Final question. Do you believe that your two opposing sides can reach a compromise, and if so, what might that look like? Cloning seems scary because so many stories present a future where clones are treated differently from normal people, and maybe that's true. But if we're feeling optimistic enough about our technological progress to believe we'll be surrounded by clones a few years from now, then I feel optimistic enough about our social progress to believe we'll treat them kindly when we are. A clone is just a person, and for all we know, we're already surrounded by them every day. Yes, if cloning ever becomes common, the people unlucky enough to be clones shouldn't be punished for existing, but like nuclear bombs or Snapchat filters, cloning is too powerful a piece of technology for us to blindly assume it's going to be handled responsibly. Maybe it is inevitable, but we need to be cautious. As much fun as it would be to have a conversation with myself. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lincoln Debates. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to our debaters Lincoln and Lincoln. New episodes will be coming every Saturday at 5 p.m. Subscribe so you won't miss them. As always, try to be kind to each other and yourselves. Thank you.